The TSA has launched an investigation into some of its own officers. After, we'll show you the image, this racist and disturbing display was found inside a TSA workstation at Miami International Airport. You can see the image of it here, obtained by CNN. Let me bring in CNN's Renee Marsh, because she has this exclusive reporting for us. Renee, what are you learning?
So, Kate, you know, it's truly disturbing. You saw in that photo there a noose and the two stuffed gorillas. Obviously, this was very upsetting for the TSA employees who discovered it. But what was also upsetting to them, I'm told, was their manager's initial reaction. That manager initially brushed it off as just a joke, according to employees I spoke to. So that was sort of salt on the wounds for these officers. As we all know, monkeys have long been used as racial insults against African Americans. And of course, the noose is just a powerful reminder of the history that African Americans, the violent history that African Americans have endured. So with all that in mind, for these three officers, this was no joke for them. We can tell you that two TSA officers are on leave at this point as the agency investigates. And we did reach out to TSA, and they provided us with this statement, which said, in part, the display was immediately removed and an investigation was launched into who was responsible for the unacceptable behavior. TSA does not tolerate racist or offensive behavior, and those found responsible will be held accountable for their actions. And I can tell you that the TSA employees that I spoke to say that this display really created this feeling of a hostile work environment, and they say that they will not feel comfortable until everyone responsible is obviously held accountable.
Trump attacks everybody. He's mean, he's rude. So you kind of say, well, okay, why are you guys so upset? He attacks people of color in a particular way. You know, if it's a place of color, it's an S-hole nation. If it's a black city, it's a crime-infested city. If it's a leader of color, go back where you came from. So it's not, so listen, he's rude, he's mean, but there's a particular kind of vitriol and there's a pattern here. And I think that's why people are so upset. Part of the danger that we are in now is that you can't let this stuff go and you can't spend too much time talking about it, because I think he likes being seen as this racial provocateur standing up to all these people. And so it's a lose-lose situation for the country to have a president like this.
Senator Santorum, earlier there's... Okay, go ahead.
I just don't see it that way. I mean, I think I agree with Van that the president is crude and rude and combative with anybody who attacks him. And he fights back, and he fights back dirty, and he fights back mean, and I think that goes for everybody. I don't think he pulls punches on anybody, no matter what the color of their skin is.
But this particular motif, this theme, he keeps coming back to. For instance, he would never say about Appalachia, these people are disgusting and they're crime-infected, blah, blah. In other words,
because the representatives of Appalachia aren't attacking him on a regular basis. I mean, that's
I don't remember when you were running against him telling you should go back to Italy.
It happened to my dad, but you're right. Look, I'm not condoning any of the language. So let's just be very clear about that. But to say that somehow or another there's a difference between how Donald Trump attacks certain people and other people. The reality is what Donald Trump, I think, is trying to do, because I've talked to a lot of people who are around the Trump campaign, and they really believe, I know this is going to come as a shock to all of you, they really believe they have an opportunity to make great gains in the black and brown community. They believe they've got a great message, and one of their messages is the people who are representing you now are not doing a bad job, and you need to get rid of these people, and you need to try something different.
There is this thing called Blexit, which is like, blacks exiting the Republican Party, and this idea that Democrats have let us down and Democrats whatever. This is the worst possible way to execute that strategy.
Agreed.
If what you're trying to do is peel away black voters, you don't say no human would live there.
I agree, Mr. President. Right. Listen to Van Jones on this.
We got to take.
Perhaps it's the newfound clarity I have as a father, knowing that my son will always be watching what I do, mimicking my behavior, one day maybe even following in my your own past and create a better future for someone else.